Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of AirBall podcast. Hosting our show is
Charlie Campbell. I'm 5'11", and I like to do graphic design.
I'm Solomon Gorenstein. I'm 6'2", 180 pounds.
Carson Fraser, and I'm 5'8 3/4, and Charlie is 5'7". All right, to start off this podcast, we're gonna talk about LaMelo Ball.
LaMelo Ball is so stupid. We just watched an interview with him in overtime. Guy doesn't even know how to talk.
He's just stupid. He's just straight up stupid. Like, I don't think people realize, like, the intelligence of some, like, professional athletes, but, like, these people are genuinely stupid.
You're dissing my guy.
Don't get me wrong. He's going to be top 3 in the draft. He's got a crazy future in front of him. Better than Lonzo's.
Better than LiAngelo's.
Better
than LiAngelo's.
But the guy does not know how to talk.
I'm saying the Lonzo breakout year. Did you see his free throw that he airballed?
Yeah, and then he, like, fell back.
Yeah. No, but in preseason, I actually think his 3-point shooting has been a lot better.
I mean, like, yeah, but...
Speaking of preseason 3-point shooting, who the fuck is the rookie on Boston?
What's his name? Carson Edwards.
Oh, shit.
Carson Edwards went off for the Celtics. He scored, I think, 29 points in, like, 23 minutes.
Yeah.
8 threes in
8
the quarter.
threes.
Yeah.
Absolutely nuts.
He's got a bright future.
Okay, so for our next segment, I want to talk a little bit about our number 1 pick, Zion. I'm assuming most of the people listening to this know that he just got injured. Surprise, surprise. He's out for 2 months because, what is it? Like something in his knee. Something in his knee. He's just, like, I've been calling it. The boys, we all did a draft together, and I've been saying, I'm not going to draft Zion. I'm not going to, like, expect Zion to do a lot because he's 100% injury prone.
He's a liability.
He's such a liability.
So heavy.
He's 285 pounds at 6'6". Solomon is 6'2", 170. 180.
That
fatty.
doesn't make sense.
That shit doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no,
This guy's compressed.
Like, that is, he's dense. Like,
Open
he's strong.
if you
He's not fat.
him.
He's not fat, but he's so dense. First of all, how the hell does he get up so high? This guy can jump and pull so much weight in the air, but when he lands, he's bringing down so much weight and so much force.
problem.
At the speed he's coming down, he's, like, nobody can land safely. We
Especially-
saw how explosive Derrick Rose was, and the injuries that caused him. Zion is just as explosive, and he's carrying an extra 100 and something pounds.
And not to mention the craziness of the dunks he's doing. Like,
exactly, it's just like it's scary to watch. Honestly, I would compare him most in a past player to Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley is, like, how tall is Charles Barkley? He's, like, the same height. He's, like, Charles Barkley's 6'4". How big? Charles Barkley was, like, the same weight.
Yeah.
And we saw, like, his body just couldn't handle it.
Let's move on. Earlier today, or it was yesterday actually, Michael Jordan said Steph Curry is not yet a Hall of Fame player. What do you guys think about that?
Absolute bullshit.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't think Michael Jordan's...
Steph Curry is the best shooter of all time. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a Golden State fan whatsoever. I don't like Golden State.
But you gotta appreciate the game.
You have to respect, if there's any respectable player on Golden State, or any respectable players, it's Steph and Clay.
Steph Curry revolutionized the three-point shot. Like, yeah, there were guys before him. Ray Allen was up there, but, like...
None of them made it influential in the NBA.
You think any kid is yelling Ray Allen when they fucking take a shot?
Yeah.
No, every kid knows who Steph Curry is.
People are yelling Kobe.
Kobe, yeah, but he didn't... He was a good player and he was a good shooter, but they don't think of him as the three-point shooter.
It's you ask anybody who's the best three-point shooter of all time, they're going to say Steph Curry.
Yeah, but what is Jordan have against Curry? Like,
Yeah. I don't know why. Like, of course he must have some reason.
But with the basketball knowledge that he has being the GOAT,
Yeah.
why is he... I want to know his logic behind that.
Yeah. An interview will definitely come out because there's no way that comment's just going to go under the radar.
Unnoticed, yeah.
He's going to be interviewed. I want to see what he has to say because, yeah, he knows so much about basketball. He's not just going to be saying shit like that because he's petty towards Steph Curry. He's going to have some argument, but Yeah, I don't agree.
And I feel like a player of that caliber would fully be able to admit when
A player is that good.
a player is that good. Because nobody's saying that Steph Curry's better than MJ. MJ sure as hell doesn't feel threatened by Steph Curry's legacy.
Yeah.
There were a couple interviews about LeBron genuinely what word am I trying to think of? Threatening MJ's legacy.
Like he was saying.
Yeah, like MJ was genuinely like worried because MJ had already been out of the league and LeBron was like beating or easily competing with most of MJ's stats.
Well, LeBron is already, like, if you go, what is it, the shop?
Yeah.
Once he said
He said once he beat Golden State,
he
came back from
that
3-1.
solidified him as the best player of all time.
Yeah.
So,
And again, none of us watched MJ. We can't speak on his ability. Like, it was a different time. There's the argument of, he wasn't playing as many Hall of Famers as LeBron's going to play. But he was just a freak athlete. And
I feel like that's to be said with every single past generation, though. Because, like, the way that we see the NBA now, like, players like Isaiah Thomas or, like, Derrick Rose or all these players, people are going to... The generation after us is going to be like, those players were, like, nuts. Like, we never got to see those players. Like, remember when Isaiah was averaging 30 points?
Mm-hmm.
And to us, it's just, like, that just happened.
Yeah.
Like, we just got to witness it, and it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But when people look back, when we look at the stat of Oscar Robertson being the first ever player to average a triple-double, all of us now are like, oh my god, that's nuts. But, like, when we see Russell Westbrook do it for the third season in a row, we're
It's just the norm.
numb to it. He got 10th place in MVP votings last year.
12,
Still
I think.
averaging a triple-double. Was it 12?
I think so, yeah.
Something like that. And that's absolutely nuts. People are going to look back on that in the next generation and be like, wow, Russell Westbrook really might be the greatest point guard of all time, putting up those numbers.
Talking about Isaiah Thomas, bro, I feel so bad for him.
so bad.
My god, so bad.
Just want to see him succeed.
Yeah.
I just want to see him be healthy in an environment where he can play the game. He just wants to play.
And now he's
he has
injured
so
again.
much heart. 5'8".
Yeah.
That's my height. I can't compete with you.
That's 3 inches
playing.
smaller than
He's
me.
playing
The biggest guys in the
7
world.
foot NBA freaks.
He
that
brought
is
that Celtics team
hard.
to the Eastern
Like
Conference
averaging,
Finals.
and not even like he played good. He played out of his mind.
Yeah.
30 points per game.
Also, like, the day after his sister died, dropping, what was it, 50?
50.
Like, as a 5'8" guard in the postseason.
Nuts.
And now he's injured again. It sucks.
You hate to see it.
Speaking of injury, John Wall.
John Wall tearing his ACL on his marble
Fuck.
How did DeMarcus Cousins tear his ACL?
scrimmage. They're playing a pickup game with the Lakers. That sucks.
John
He
Wall
might
and
be
DeMarcus
done.
Cousins were mopping the floors and they fucking slipped.
DeMarcus Cousins might be done.
He's done. I think
WNBA players thinking that they could take on DeMarcus Cousins is one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my entire life. What the fuck?
man can dunk from a standing position. There have been 5 total dunks in WNBA history. Yeah, I think he's done. I think there was a lot of hype when he signed with Golden State. Not hype, but he was there was a lot of controversy before he went to Golden State. And when he signed with them, all this stuff came out like, oh, this guy's an all-star. Like, look at all these highlight tapes. Like, he's going to go off. And then it was
Wasn't that
kind of
good?
nothing. Yeah, he's getting
It's
older.
Sacramento, DeMarcus Cousins.
Sacramento
is the
was
best
his
DeMarcus
prime.
Cousins we're ever gonna
Yeah,
see.
he's coming off a loss in the finals. He was already not doing great last season. Now, plus his injury, he's going to be sidelined at least a year.
Yeah.
He comes back
I mean,
next season.
I honestly
after
Even,
not
even
playing.
I feel like everybody forgot about his Pelicans era. Like, he didn't even play that good on the Pelicans.
Yeah.
Well, he got injured in the playoffs. I just think that going to the Golden State Warriors was just his last chance of, like, I just want to get a ring.
Get a ring. He was ring chasing. And, well, we're from Toronto, so fuck him for that.
So, sorry about that one.
Talking about individual players, let's move on to ESPN's top 50.
Let's get into
Holy
it.
shit.
You want to read us some names, Carson?
Dumbest list I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, before we get into it, when we're ranking players, are we saying healthy or are we excluding injuries? Because
I wouldn't, like,
I think we should exclude injuries. I think Kevin Durant
I'm saying
play.
healthy. Kevin Durant, right now, in my opinion, is the best player in the league.
Well,
Or as
they
of
have-
last
Well,
season.
right now, he's on his fucking couch because he can't
Okay,
walk.
I'm talking about like last year before that, Kevin
I
Durant.
mean, on here they have.
Okay,
I
I
think-
think I think we should talk about.
49.
I think we should talk about going into next season. Who
going
we
into
think,
like this
like
upcoming
going into the season.
now?
Oh, that starts tonight actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should talk about best 50, top 50.
Actually, before that, speaking about opening night, what are our predictions?
I'm thinking, is Kawhi playing tonight? Paul George isn't playing, right?
Kawhi's playing.
I don't think Paul George is playing. All right, so I'm taking Lakers.
I still think the Clippers might win.
I don't know. I think
the
Lakers
I'm saying Lakers and Toronto.
by like a
Lakers
10
and Toronto. Oh,
well, Toronto's playing
Lakers-
Yeah, no,
Lakers
Toronto
and-
over
New
Pelicans.
Orleans, just because Zion isn't playing.
Yeah.
Siakam 25.
Siakam's gonna drop 25 at least, and I'm taking Lakers by a margin of like 10-15 against the Clippers.
Okay, let's start with our personal top 10s before we go into ESPN's top 50. I say number 1 going into this season, LeBron.
Okay, they have just. I just want to say, like, are you guys ready to say Giannis is the best player in the league?
I'm not ready to say that.
No.
They have him number 1.
I have Giannis as number 3. I have LeBron, Kawhi, Giannis, Harden. And then so on and so forth.
I have LeBron as my number 1. I think he was so disrespected last year. I think just because he didn't carry an underdog team to the finals again, I think that's just the expectation for him. So since he didn't do it,
Yeah.
people disregarded him. He still had one of the best stat lines in the entire NBA, better than Kawhi's, disregarding postseason because he didn't make it postseason. But it's just the norm for him to carry whatever team he's on to the finals. And since he didn't do that this year by himself with, Lonzo Ball averaging 6 points a game, people forget about him. I think he's mad. I think he's going to come back with Anthony Davis, and I think he's going to go crazy. Number 2.
Always, like, finding something wrong with LeBron. Like, he
Yeah.
makes the finals with the Cavs. Like,
It's
there's
like,
no
oh, he
way,
had too much help. It's like, oh, he had another All-Star. Like, Kevin Love was there. He carried him.
There's no way the Cavs
It's-
are going to beat Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and Clay. And there's just another way to say he's just 3-6, and he keeps losing in the finals. There's no way he's going to win that finals.
It's just people in the NBA community just don't like repetition.
Yeah.
It's just like LeBron had his prime. Everybody was like, okay, but he's third best player, second best player, first best player of all time. But people don't realize that he is still pulling almost, if not the same numbers that he was in his
He had
prime.
better numbers last year than his year before.
Yeah.
He just went crazy, and everybody was so impressed. He carried that shit team to the finals after trading away Derrick Rose, Dwayne Wade, and Isaiah Thomas. Then he carried that Cavs team to the finals still. Lost in the finals, but he came back stronger the next year. I think this year he's going to come back stronger. And yeah, that's my number 1. Number 2, I'm going Kawhi Leonard. I think he's one of the best two-way players in the league. Number 3, yeah. Number 3, I'm personally going... This is tough, James Harden or Giannis, because I really think James Harden should have taken the MVP last year. I think the media controlled all of Giannis's hype, and I think nobody else in the NBA can show up like James Harden does and put up the amount of points he does. I think he's number 3, and I'm putting Giannis at number 4.
That just comes down to the Giannis and Harden debate in what do you value as more impactful on a team? Leadership, because we know Giannis was such a good leader to the Bucks compared to Harden probably not being the best leader on Houston.
No, yeah.
And just their play styles are completely different. Harden loves the 3-ball. Giannis does not.
He has to, Giannis. If Giannis gets a shot, it's over.
And Giannis just performs so much better in the paint.
All right, Charlie, let's go to who you think, not necessarily top 10, but top 4 or 5. What are you saying about that?
I still do think LeBron is number 1. I just think it's ridiculous how much people overreact after one playoffs. And I'd say Kawhi too. I don't really think anyone is really arguing that right now. Other than people who are arguing him number 1, like Max Kellerman.
No, doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
He won a championship, and...
I mean, if we do think about that, though, we're from Toronto. He's done what no player in our franchise history has ever done. Like, that's nuts. And
LeBron came back
he
from
flipped
3-1.
the whole team around. Notice how when Kawhi came to the team, everybody on the team played better.
Yeah.
Everybody
I don't
on
know
the
if
team.
you guys felt the same, but when the trade came out, I was upset, and I thought our chances of a playoff run were over after that because I wasn't
Me
aware.
too.
Because the season before he sat out, he was injured, and I didn't really know it. I was just like, oh, DeMar's like our mascot. He's fucking gone. This is gonna suck. The team's gonna be upset. But he really just came and proved that he can flip a team around in one season.
No, and that's what I'm saying. The NBA fan base loves change. Back to that topic. He's been on the Spurs since his rookie season. He still put up like insane numbers, one finals MVP with the Spurs, and one with us now. But people just got immune to it, and then when he moved to a whole new team and was the superstar on the team and started excelling that team and pushing the team forward, that everybody just knew as the team that always came second or the team that always came third. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, Kawhi, like top 2 player in the league." Like he was never considered an overall top 3 player in the league. He was always number 1 defensive, and nobody ever really just talked about him.
I would definitely say if you're talking about best leaders in the NBA, the way Kawhi led the Raptors last year
number 1. I was Kawhi number 1.
Like, the way he led them and just changed their whole attitude in the playoffs, never being satisfied, was a lot different than what I think LeBron has done as a leader. So I'd put Kawhi as a better leader than LeBron.
A lot of people misinterpret what a good leader looks like, and a lot of people will look at Kawhi and say, like, oh, he's so quiet, he doesn't even show emotion, how is he a good leader? But that's not what being a leader does. You can't say that he was a bad leader when something clearly went on in that locker room in the 2018-19 season, and it's not a coincidence that Kawhi got there and something changed.
Those guys had a bond, all of them. And keep in mind, like, Danny Green, too. Danny Green came to Toronto with Kawhi from San Antonio. However, I showed Solomon this video the other day not Solomon. I showed Charlie this video the other day of comparisons by, like, dot graphs in the NBA. And it's the most nuts video. If you haven't seen it, it's by, like, what's his name? Jimmy High Roller.
Oh, yeah. I love him.
Jimmy High Roller. Absolutely nuts. It was like James Harden had double the amount of free throw attempts than second place in last year. He had like 800 and something, while Damian Lillard had like 400 and something.
And that's valuable.
That is so valuable.
You can diss on him and say, oh, he's just drawing fouls, he's like traveling, but he just knows how to get it done. And if people aren't willing to adapt to the game and play it for their advantage like he is, then that's their fault. He's just a smart guy, and he knows
how to get fouls.
There are the games where he was only fouled, where I think he had, like, last season it was like he had maybe 3 free throws and he only dropped like 15 points. But, like, he's getting buckets. You can get them any way you want.
Part of the game
people are complaining, stop fouling him.
Yeah. Part of the game is drawing fouls, and he knows how to draw fouls.
He knows the NBA is soft, and he uses it to his advantage. And if other people are too proud to adapt to that, then your team's going to lose.
Yep, that is fair game, 100%. Back to what I was saying about immunity, though. Like, the whole NBA fan base being immune to what they've already seen, and they don't want to see it no matter how impressive it really is. There was a graph on triple-doubles.
Well, that was insane.
For, like, players getting triple-double games.
Russell Westbrook compared to everybody else. I think second, it was like people were floating with like I'm gonna see if I can find
anywhere from like 5 to 10, and then it would get into double digits, and there were maybe 5 players who had more than 10 triple doubles in the past 3 seasons. LeBron being number 2 with like 36, and Russell Westbrook over the past 3 seasons or something like that has had 101 triple doubles compared to everybody else. That is absolutely insane, but nobody wants to notice it anymore.
No, everybody wants to notice the one play a game where he tosses the ball away instead of getting a bucket. But they don't want to notice the 11 rebounds he gets over another big man on the other team. Charlie, do you want to finish up your top 5 list? You put Kawhi too.
Yeah. I'd put Harden below, because my list would be more this year, and this year
season starting tonight.
Yeah, this season. Russell Westbrook's on the team, so first of all, I think he's gonna lose. I don't think he's gonna average 36 again. No way.
Harden?
Yeah.
I could see it going either way. I could see Russell Westbrook is a toxic teammate and tries to take away, or they both.
I feel like I'm gonna have to
teams.
disagree with that 100%.
I don't even think if Russell Westbrook is a
Russell Westbrook. There's a video clip of an announcer saying Russell Westbrook.
No, I could see Russell Westbrook coming out and just being pissed with being boned in OKC for so many years, and he comes out and realizes he has to change his game, and he's not the star. Like, he's a star, but he's more of a role player, and he has to Harden's the guy, and he has to feed the guy.
Yeah,
and
but even if he's a great teammate, you're still taking the ball out of Harden's hands more, because he's definitely gonna have the ball more than Chris Paul.
So you're putting Giannis ahead of.
Yeah, I think so this year.
We also need to think. Just so you guys know, OKC's my number one team. I'm a huge OKC fan, and 13th seed this year, baby. We haven't seen Russell Westbrook play with a superstar guard since Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
And Kevin Durant's a small forward, but Kevin Durant and James Harden still put up those insane numbers. They both did. Russell Westbrook, sure, he didn't average a triple-double, but he was still putting up, 20-something, 10 assists, and his rebound numbers.
Russell Westbrook just had to step up to be that player who can get the points, the boards, and the dimes.
Once KD left.
Yeah, once there was nobody else. Now that he's going back to playing with another star, he's going to readjust. But I do see why that would put Harden a bit lower.
Yes, but it is just the attitude of Russell Westbrook. He's so talented, he's cocky, he just doesn't really accept failure. And with a player like James Harden, I think that's going to mesh fine. Because James Harden is that person that isn't going to make the mistakes that fucking stupid-ass Andre Robertson made in the 2017 finals, 2016 finals. There was one game. I was watching the game with my friend, and it was, I think it was 2017, 2016 maybe. Or, no, it was 2017.
Eastern Conference Finals?
Yeah, it was Houston and Oklahoma.
That's the Western Conference Finals.
Or Western Conference.
You mean, Golden State and Oklahoma?
No.
Oh, wait.
The year after. The year after. And, it was Andre Robertson got 21 free throw attempts and made 1.
Yeah.
And we lost by 2 points, and that kicked us out of the series. And I've never been so angry at Andre Robertson. Might be my least favorite player in NBA history.
That's pretty garbage.
Horrible. Sure, people can argue that he's a good defensive player, and he is, but how untalented he is on offense. He is no player at the rim. He has one of the worst shots next to Sean Livingston. And
Sean Livingston is a good mid-range.
Yeah, that was disrespectful.
Sean Livingston's mid-range is very good.
Sean said Joakim Noah or something, but this guy, Sean Livingston, the guy had cancer or something, man. Can't be saying that.
Sean Livingston's good.
Sean Livingston could throw down on
Sean Livingston repeated. What are you talking about? He had 2 rings. That was all him.
Can we talk about what's his name? The kid who was on Toronto. Is on Toronto now, and he got traded from Golden State.
McCaw.
And
Patrick
McCaw.
Patrick McCaw.
3 rings in his first 3 NBA seasons. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. He's a good young kid, though. Game. Yeah. He's a good young kid. No, he can shoot.
Do we still
no, he's still there.
Okay, now that we talked about our list, it took 35 minutes to get our top 4. We're just going to get into ESPN's top 50.
Okay, so number 1's Giannis. Yeah, number 1 is Giannis.
Yeah, I'm going to say no on that. But
number 1's Giannis on ESPN?
But let's just keep reading.
Number 2, Kawhi. I honestly am so fine with Kawhi number 2.
Kawhi number 2, I understand.
I don't understand LeBron at 3.
LeBron James at 3, no.
Doesn't make sense.
And Harden at 4.
Let's go. Where I see the problem, though, is deeper in the list. The top 10 is just a mixed up version
top
of
four,
the top 10.
Yeah, top 4. Top 10. Everybody has the same top 10. It's just different orders, and we can debate that all day. But let's go a bit deeper.
Like,
do you think Joel Embiid's better than Damian Lillard?
No, not at all.
No,
they have them one spot, but I think the top 10 is just a mixed up top 10. They just like scrambled up the players with like Paul George at number 10, which is like a respectable decision. But once you get lower into like not the role players but the all-stars instead of the superstar category, that's when it gets weird.
So let's get into it. Reed.
Yeah.
10.
They put Kyrie over Russell Westbrook.
Kyrie's 11. 10 was
Paul George.
10 was Paul George.
Kyrie over Russell Westbrook.
I 100% disagree.
I know you disagree because you're an OKC fan.
But
and
you
just
guys
a Russell Westbrook fan.
Have to look at the numbers and the impact. Russell Westbrook has almost carried.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to agree and say Russell Westbrook deserves a higher position just because Kyrie is also toxic. He came to the Boston team. He got injured and missed the playoffs, and they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals against the Cavs, took them to Game 7 without him. That was a crazy young core. He comes back next season. They're supposed to be insane, and he just ruined the whole locker room dynamic, said he was going to resign, and then left.
Yeah,
so that lost a lot of respect for me, and I think he should be. I think Westbrook deserves a higher spot.
Kyrie has proved he's incapable of being a leader on his own.
Yeah, he thought he was the guy. He thought he won a championship with LeBron. He thought he could take that to another team, and his last 2 seasons in Boston just proved that he can't.
When Russell Westbrook is... Everyone that has played with him or plays with him has constantly said how much they love having him as a teammate.
So, do you remember his MVP speech? His whole team, everybody's like, Russell Westbrook is a shit teammate. Mm-hmm. He's a horrible person. Like, he's angry all the time. I would hate to be on Russell Westbrook's team. That team had such a bond. That was like this year's Raptors type of bond that team had. If there were just better players on that team would have won a chip.
Yeah.
Imagine Russell Westbrook had gone to Boston instead of Kyrie. Russell Westbrook playing with the Boston players.
Yeah. He would elevate those young guys
so much better.
So much.
Okay, I have a question. Luka Doncic above Karl Anthony Towns.
How much? 1 spot above?
2. 16 Luka Doncic, 18 Karl Anthony.
I'd say overall with potential included. Luka is
for
higher.
Sure.
But this upcoming season, fully disagree.
No, yeah.
And Rudy Gobert above all of them. Like Rudy Gobert
is underrated.
Yeah.
Ooh, D'Angelo Russell below De'Aaron Fox.
And Mike Conley.
Wait, so read the.
So it's Mike Conley 24, De'Aaron Fox 25,
and then Russell 26.
D'Angelo Russell 26.
No, Mike Conley,
that is disrespectful to D'Angelo Russell.
Not okay. De'Aaron Fox, I kind of understand. I love the kid, and I think he has great potential. But I don't think De'Aaron Fox should be ahead of either of them.
Yeah, they have Devin Booker 30.
Okay, this just in. Devin Booker, number 30 overall.
Below Tobias Harris.
He dropped...
Tobias Harris. Hate on the
Devin Booker dropped... Devin Booker is the youngest player ever in the 70 club.
Yeah.
That's like... Oh my god, I 100% wholeheartedly disagree. I think Devin Booker is top 25 minimum.
Okay, they have... Clay 49.
They're definitely taking in his injury.
Yeah, I think.
I don't agree with taking in the injury because what you're saying, like, oh, even if he played and just went out like hobbling, he would still do better. Like, yeah, okay, but I think we just have to disregard that.
No, if Clay was healthy, top 10 for me.
If he was healthy, but he's not this year, so we'll talk about him next year's top 50. I think him and Kevin Durant we're not including in this. Mm-hmm. If we were, that would be a whole other thing. Yeah. He would be in the top 3. KD would be up there. But we're not going to get into that.
I don't know. The only thing that really confuses me about 31 to 50 is really Zion being above Kevin Love and...
No. There's so much hype about him. He had a crazy rating in 2K. 2K, of course, not 100% accurate. But it's all hype. He hasn't proved himself. He played NBA preseason. Got injured right away. Clearly injury prone. He has not proved himself enough to be ranked above...
How is he ranked above DeMar DeRozan? Like, what makes him
nothing
able to be ranked above DeMar DeRozan?
Even if you're taking out skill or you're giving Zion skill, DeMar DeRozan, amazing teammate, great guy, and that's valuable in the NBA. Like,
not to say Zion isn't a great guy, but
yeah, he's great, but he hasn't proved that. We don't know. Maybe he's a quiet guy, and maybe he's not gonna bring the team together. We don't know. But
the point is, Zion is uncertainty. Like, it's just, if there's one word to describe him, it's we don't know what's going to happen with him.
Yeah, that's the one word to describe him.
Yeah, that is the one word. We don't know.
Yeah,
what's
it's hard to
gonna happen
have
with him.
Zion at 42 and then have John Moran at 93.
All the way
Like, all I'm
to the
saying, like,
90s.
look at Markel Fultz. Buddy forgot how to play basketball in 1 year.
You can't say that. He got in a motorcycle accident. Do you know what happened?
No, actually, I don't.
He got in a motorcycle accident and lost the nerves between his shoulder and neck. That's why he can't shoot. He literally...
Did he actually?
Yeah. He was actually a shooter, and then before the season started, he got in a motorcycle accident, and he lost feeling between his shoulder and neck.
Okay, so he physically forgot how to shoot.
So he physically forgot how to play basketball.
His muscles said no.
And I feel bad for the kid because when you watch his college tapes, he was going to be crazy. Everybody looks at him now and says, how the hell did that guy go number one? But if you watch his college tapes, you'd see why. And you hate to see injuries like that.
Well, I think that's going to do it for this episode because Solomon has hockey.
Yeah.
I
gotta go. We're going to watch the basketball games tonight.
And we'll pick up next Tuesday.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in to week 1 of AirBall Podcasts. Guys, should we have an outro tradition or anything?
Shout out Young to the chill.
Okay, well, just...
Bye.